there, I'm Darren Howard. This is the Municipal Sustainability Project for November of 2013. A quick update to show you exactly what's been going on, talk about what's been going on in our meetings, and to fill you in on where we're going. I personally went and talked to one of the largest real estate developers that there is in the city, and I got the response that I was expecting. I'm going to tell you more on that in a bit. The federal government representative was very attentive, but didn't give me much time to talk. The local government representatives, however, well, they showed the true colors of what government's interest in poverty or solving poverty is. But what I want to present to you is some hope. In China, an extraordinarily large amount of land was reclaimed simply by people getting to work. So to give you a little hope, let's take a look at a very short clip off of a local film that kind of lays out the fact that we can save this planet. It's just going to take some work and a little bit of out-of-the-box thinking. I'll be right back, but check this out.
The story is getting old. Modern man is rapidly exhausting the planet. Deserts are advancing, and water is becoming scarce. It all seems hopeless. And every 12 years, the world population increases by 1 billion people. Looking down on Earth from space, the scale of the destruction is astonishing. But one man has discovered how to make our deserts green and our planet healthy again. We are following cameraman and ecologist John D. Liu, who sort of happened upon the solution and has spread the word ever since. This is what you can expect.
It's possible to rehabilitate large-scale damaged ecosystems. So if we can rehabilitate large-scale damaged ecosystems, why don't we do that?
It all started in 1995 when John D. Liu, as an ordinary cameraman, got an assignment to film the Lush Plateau in China. He saw how the local people transformed an area almost the size of the Netherlands from a barren, exhausted desert into a large green oasis. He was baffled. From that moment on, greening deserts became his goal in life.
The more I learn about it, the more I become interested in how this might relate to other parts of the world. And it looks like the history of the Chinese in the Lush Plateau is not simply about the Chinese. It's about what happens when human beings don't understand how ecosystems function.
Liu used his camera to record the virtually superhuman efforts of the Chinese. He made a film about it, Hope in a Changing Climate, that he posted on the internet to distribute it worldwide.
China's Lush Plateau is a region that stretches for 640,000 square kilometers across north-central China. Unspoilt valleys in neighboring Sichuan show us how it might once have looked. It's the sort of natural abundance that is necessary to support an emerging civilization.
This is such impressive stuff. A whole group of people getting together using sustainable projects in order to change the environment on which they live. And this can be done all around the world. Have no doubt there are a lot of people who are interested in saving the planet from governments and banks. I'm one of them. The most important focus that I have is feeding the 1 in 5 children that are going hungry in Canada right now. We have 300,000 homeless. We have children going hungry, and the federal government is only interested in cell phone charges and cable bundle bills. We need to start focusing our attention on real solutions. So, in order to get a real solution, we have to understand a real problem. Now, locally, we have Hellman's Mayonnaise to thank for one of the best videos that I've seen describing what the problem is, how grocery stores inadvertently create poverty. People need to get back to work at making food, but first you have to understand the size of the problem, and then we're going to get to the system that creates and maintains the problem. So check out this awesome video from Hellman's.
Looks like a typical Canadian family dinner. But do you know how much of it is actually Canadian? We may think of ourselves as being totally self-sufficient. Well, think again. We import more than 53% of our vegetables and almost all of our fruit. In 40 years, red meat imports have gone up 600%. In fact, in a 15-year period, our food imports rose 160%, while our population rose only 15%. In 2004, Alberta imported over $170 million worth of fresh vegetables. Their exports, 400,000. Even Ontario, with some of Canada's best farmland, imports $4 billion worth of produce more than it exports. And we don't just bring in exotic fruit or things we can't grow here. We're talking about cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers. For every apple we export, we import about 5. For pears, it's 1 out and 700 in. In 2007, Nova Scotia produced half as many blueberries as it did just 4 years earlier. If this continues, we may lose the ability to produce many of the foods we eat. This impacts far more than your dinner. It impacts our economy, our environment, and our neighborhoods. How? Well, for starters, many of our small family farms struggle to stay afloat, while many of our grocery dollars end up in other countries. So are cheap imports really worth it? While much of our farmland is protected on paper, it's disappearing at an alarming rate. In the second half of the 20th century, Central Ontario paved over 49% of its prime farmland to accommodate the expansion of the Greater Toronto Area. The Kitchener-Waterloo area is surrounded by fertile farmland, yet the average distance traveled by 58 imported foods commonly eaten in Waterloo is 4,497 kilometers. Where does our food come from? This so-called fresh food can take days or even weeks to get to us and can lose nutritional value on the way. Local food can be on our plates in hours. Fruits and vegetables are picked for their flavor, not their ability to withstand the rigors of international travel. Shouldn't we be producing more of our fresh food here at home and importing only when necessary? Let's help our farmers grow more of the foods we eat here in Canada. How? Choose Canadian whenever and wherever possible. If you want to eat more Canadian food, you have to start looking for it, asking for it, and filling your bag with it. Enjoying fresh local food can be easy. Start at eatrealeatlocal.ca.
So as you can see, the problem about grocery production and food production is built right into society. Banks support major grocery store chains that consistently raise the price of groceries. In Guelph, Ontario, a university has produced a projection on how the grocery prices are going up. So I suggest that you do your research on how the grocery prices are going up. And also realize the fact that the inflation rate that the government keeps reporting does not reflect fuel or food prices in its index. The Conservative Party of Canada has announced that it is going to directly connect the health care that we get with the GDP, the gross domestic product that Canada produces. So let's take a look at the system of commerce that we're involved in and the way that capitalism is actually causing the species to suffer and the way that we can change the way that we're doing things. Remember, there are big solutions to the big problems we're faced with. It's only banks and government that aren't interested. And this short video will explain why.
One of these. Of course not. This thing is 5 years old. Now everyone's got one of these. Can you imagine how much genius and focus it took to turn a music player into a handheld computer phone GPS remote control for everything in life in just 5 years? Seriously, the thousands of people who made this thing had to solve thousands of problems that literally could not have been solved 5 years ago. That's what people can do when they're motivated to find solutions to problems. But the problems we've been busy solving are not the problems that most need solving. So much focus has gone into faster, cheaper, newer that we've actually lost ground on things like safer, healthier, and more fair. It's as if we're getting better and better at playing the wrong game. And in many ways, this system is a lot like a game, but with very high stakes. Just like a game, our economy was designed by people to get everyone to play by certain rules. And like a game, it comes with instructions telling us what the goal is. Think about the last time you played a new game. Remember? The first thing you did was find out what it means to win, and that guides every decision you make along the way. So naturally, the solutions most people are working on pursue this game's simple goal, and that goal is more. More money being spent, more roads being built, more malls being opened, more stuff. That's what economists call growth. So we take all the money spent on stuff that makes life better, and all the money spent on stuff that makes life worse, and we add it together into one big number called GDP. We're told that a bigger GDP means we're winning. So it's the number that thousands of rules and laws are designed to increase. But there's a big difference between more kids in school or more kids in jail, more windmills or more coal-fired power plants, more super efficient public trains or more gas wasted in traffic jams. Duh! But in this game of more, they're counted the same. Now, we can't change a game this dumb one rule or one player at a time. The problem is the goal itself. We need solutions that change that. What if we built this game around the goal of better? Better education, better health, better stuff, a better chance to survive on this planet. That's what we all want, right? So shouldn't that, changing the goal of the entire economy is a huge task. Of course, we can't do it all at once. But when we focus on game-changing solutions, we gradually make it possible for a new game to be played.
So to sum things up, there are big problems. We know what they are, and we know what the solution is. The solution is changing our focus. Remember, one person can make a difference, and you're that person. I am no more intelligent than you are. I don't have that much more experience than you do, and I'm definitely not as well connected as you are, because you're on the internet just like me. We are equals. The most important thing to understand here is that there is hope. We are going to bring you business plans so people who are interested in pursuing this project can set up the business in a similar fashion that we are. But we're also going to present a challenge to you. Right now, I want you to contact us and to let us know that you're going to start building an aquaponics system or start working on a biodigester system in order to create your own fuel. Our goal right now is to put 1,200 people to work, but it's also to take every residence and apartment building off of the power grid, to get rid of Fortis and their power grid and the way that they're overcharging common citizens like me and you.